Hello, fam. It's me, K Steps, and I'm back with another edition of Undiluted TV. And right here, I want to do a little break from the series that I'm doing on Black economic empowerment. I want to take a break right here, and I want to, do this little video. And as you'll see from the title, this video is about forgiveness. Who forgives and who does not forgive? And the reason why I want to do this video on forgiveness is because, first of all, we've got another black person in America who has come out with this whole I forgive the person who killed my loved one. And of course, the person who did the killing, the gunman, was a member of the dominant society. He was a white guy. And I want to use this story, this story compared to the story with Donald Trump and the Iranians to talk about the difference between us doing all of this forgiveness, meaning us blacks doing all this forgiveness and forgiving, and how folks in the dominant society and folks from other cultures and folks from other ethnic groups, they're just not into all of this forgiveness. They're just not into this forgiveness thing. We're the only ones that have been conditioned and programmed and socially engineered to be docile and to be so forgiving of other groups and forgiving of, especially forgiving of the dominant society for whatever they do to us, whether it's economic destruction or whether it's, killing us in the streets with impunity or whatever. We're the only ones who practice all of this forgiveness, all of this turn the other cheek. We're the only ones that practice that. Even other Christians, even other people that are a part of the Christian faith, a part of Christianity, they don't do all this forgiving. Okay? Let's make sure we understand that. They don't do all of this forgiving. And supposedly they worship the same white Jesus, and they believe in the same Bible and the same God, and they follow the same scriptures, but they don't do all this forgiving. We're the only ones that are all caught up in all of this forgiving. And I was hoping that we would leave all of this forgiveness foolishness in 2019. But as you'll see from this story, some of us have brought it into, are bringing it into 2020 with us, and it's got to stop. Yes, it's all a part of the engineering. It's all a part of the conditioning and the psychology and all of that went into slavery, and that has, gone on since slavery and all of that. But we're in a new. This is a new day, and with all the information that's out there, with everything that is being taught about our culture and everything that's being taught about our history, foundational Black American history, and the history of Black people in the world in general. With all the information that's out there, there's no reason for anybody to still be this stuck on stupid. There's just no excuse for this. So let me get into this article about this story first. And this article is coming from the New York Post. It's by Amanda Woods, December the 30th, 2019. Daughter of deacon killed in Texas church shooting says she forgives gunman. The daughter of a deacon gunned down during the Texas church shootout recalled her dad's heartbreaking final moments, but said in a new interview that she forgives the gunman. Anton Tony Wallace, 64, a deacon and lifelong member of the West Freeway Church of Christ in White Settlement, a suburb of Fort Worth, was killed before his daughter's eyes last Sunday morning. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Antoine Wallace, 64 years old, is in the medical field. He was in the medical field. Now I'm not quite sure whether he's a doctor or not because I haven't done all the research on him. But I know from a few pictures that I've seen that he was in the medical field. And they lived in this suburb in Fort Worth. So they probably lived among the dominant society. They went to church with the dominant society because if I'm not mistaken, in another article, somebody that I read, somebody said something about this. What's the name of the church? West Freeway Church of Christ was a predominantly white church. So you're in a predominantly white neighborhood. You go to a predominantly white church. Come on, y'all, follow follow the pathology. Let's follow it here. And he was killed, and he was killed right before her eyes. So she probably went to predominantly white schools, because we don't have a whole lot of black folks that live in suburbs. Not that we have a few. We have some white black folks that live in suburbs, but not the majority of folks that live in suburbs are white people. Wallace's daughter, Tiffany Wallace, told NBC DFW that her dad had just given out communion in the back of the church when a strange man walked up to him. The guy just stood up from the pew, turned towards my dad, and I guess he shot at the security guard, Tiffany told the outlet. Then she realized her father had been hit too. So the deacon succumbed to his injuries at the hospital, and based on this picture that's in this article, it looks like maybe she also works at a hospital or works in some kind of medical facility or whatever, based on this picture that's in this article. The deacon succumbed to his injuries at the hospital, his grieving daughter said. You don't think it's going to hit home, and the fact that it hit our home and someone that supports us and loves us and is our dad is gone, that's what hurts the most, she said. You just wonder why. How can someone so evil, the devil, step into the church and do this? Still, she says she forgives the gunman, who was killed by two parishioners, including a former FBI agent working security, in spite of her grief. So the gunman, the only two people that were killed in this shootout, is the gunman and her father. And the gunman just walked right up to her father and shot him. And then two parishioners who were trained, obviously. One was a former FBI agent who was working as a security guard, and then another parishioner, they pulled out their weapons and they took down the gunman. But again, the main thing is, I forgive him, and that's the hardest thing to do, she told the outlet. Why? Now, this just happened. So it's not like she has had 3-4 months, 6 months, a year, or whatever to process this. It's not like she's had time, to process her grief and to go through the grieving process for her father or anything like that. But just right off the bat, she jumps out in the first interview that she does. She just automatically jumps out with this, I forgive him. Why? Why? Your father is gone. All the forgiveness in the world ain't going to bring him back. And remember, we're in Texas. And remember, it was just, 2 months ago when Botham Jean's brother, Brant John, got his little award, his little so-called courage award for all of this forgiveness and all of that mess that, that went on in the Amber Guyger trial. So is this young woman trying to be seen? Is she trying to get, her award? Is she trying to, to put in her bid for her courage award? Has she lived among and worshipped among and was educated among or whatever the dominant society so much until she's just, I mean, and this is a younger woman. This woman looks to be maybe in her 20s and maybe her mid to late 20s. So I'm just not understanding. I'm not grasping. I don't comprehend the need for all of this forgiveness. The need for all this putting it out publicly. Oh, we forgive, we forgive, we forgive. Because all it does is it continues to send the same message. And that is, it's okay for the dominant society and for any other group to just come in and do whatever they want to do to us. Just, just kill us in our homes, kill us in the street, kill us when we out worshiping. Kill us when we out shopping, killing us when we just doing everyday things. It's just okay for them to just come in and just kill us and take our lives and separate us from our families or whatever the case may be. It's okay because we just gonna forgive them. That's the message that it sends, that we just gonna forgive. We're not gonna retaliate. We're not gonna fight back. We're not gonna seek justice. We're not gonna fight for justice. We're just gonna forgive. So it puts an even larger target on the backs of all foundational Black Americans than what's already there, because we all already walk around with a target on our backs. But this kind of nonsense, this kind of passive, sick, twisted, not because it's not natural for you to automatically jump to forgiveness when your loved one or somebody important to you or whatever has just been snatched away from you by violence. And you watch this violence happen right before your eyes. It's not natural for you to automatically jump to forgiveness. The natural thing is that you want revenge. The natural thing is you want justice. The natural thing is, you want to see that person pay the price for harming you the way they have harmed you. That's just natural. It's called self-preservation. But from slavery on up, it's almost like self-preservation in Black folks has just been, maybe it's been beat out of us or tortured out of us or programmed out of us or whatever, because we never think about preserving self. We never think about what's best for us. We never think about, why are you harming me, and fighting back and saying, okay, enough is enough. These folks just jumping straight to this forgiveness. And like I said, there's enough information out there now that we should be trying our best to break the psychology of this. And yes, I understand, a part of it comes from this whole Christianity thing and comes from all of this religion and all of that. But white Christians don't feel like this. You don't see white Christians coming on TV and doing interviews and all of this kind of stuff and talking about, especially not when it's, a member of their family or a loved one or whatever, and the accused or the person who committed the crime or the person who harmed them or whatever is Black. You don't see them all on TV and in radio and in interviews and all of this talking about, and in courtrooms and everything, talking about forgive, forgive, forgive. Jesus said forgive. It's the Christian way is to forgive. No, they want justice. They want an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And that's what the Old Testament talks about, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. The Old Testament talks about, God being vengeful and he getting revenge on your enemies and all of this kind of stuff. So if it was just Christianity, then why white Christians or Christians from other groups and other ethnic groups, why aren't they out promoting all of this forgive, 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 forgive? The Bible said forgive. Jesus said forgive. Why aren't they out pushing all of that? She called the armed security guard a hero to me and also thanked a nurse who ran to help those injured. Okay, how many? The wild scene was caught on video showing stunned congregants crying and screaming while ducking for cover under pews. So it must have been some kind of shootout between the two parishioners and the gunman, which led to the gunman being killed. And that's it. Those were the only two people that were killed. This black man who the gunman walked up to purposely and shot him. And the gunman. Those are the only two that died. But now I want to move on to this story about what President Trump got going on right now. So we know a couple of days ago, President Trump ordered a strike, airstrike against this Iranian general Qasem Soleimani. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce his name or not. And supposedly him and I think one or two other people were killed in this strike as he was leaving the airport or the airstrip or whatever. And supposedly this is supposed to be retaliation for supposedly he's ordered some airstrike and some bombs on some air bases, some American air bases in Iran, and supposedly they had intelligence coming in that he was planning this major attack against some Americans and some American assets and all of this, and the intelligence pointed towards it, and Donald Trump was like, well, no, we need to go ahead on and take him out before he can do this. Because there was an attack on the American embassy. No one was killed, no one was hurt, but there was attack. They went in, and I think they said they started all kind of little fires and were disrupting things and all of that. So supposedly this strike against him was because this man has been such a long time terrorist, and he's already attacked American assets over in Iran, and he was planning another big attack of Americans over in Iran. And I want to link that to this young woman. All right, where's the forgiveness? Where's the forgiveness? Is Donald Trump running around talking about, oh, well, we got to forgive the Iranians? Is Donald Trump running around talking about, oh, well, we need to do the Christian thing? Because supposedly he's supposed to be a Christian, I believe. And, we got to do the Christian thing, and Jesus would forgive, and Jesus wouldn't believe in all of this, fighting back and striking back and retaliating this and retaliating that and all that. Where's the forgiveness? Where's the turn the other cheek? And of course, because of this man's killing or his murder or whatever you want to call it, because of that, now the Iranian people are vowing that they're going to get revenge against the United States government for taking this man out. They have vowed to retaliate. We don't know when, we don't know where, we don't know where they're going to hit, we don't know how hard they're going to hit. We don't know any of those things just yet. But they have sworn to retaliate. They have sworn to get revenge because of the murder of this man, this Iranian general. Where's the forgiveness? Where's the turn the other cheek? Where's the, oh, let's forgive the American government? Yes, we hurt. Yes, it feels bad. Yes, they have wounded us. Yes, they have harmed us. Yes, they have stolen this life and separated us from this person that we loved and that we looked up to and all of that. But we're just going to turn the other cheek. We're just going to look the other way. Where's the forgiveness? Where's the forgiveness? In the story that I did a couple of weeks ago about the young woman, Crystal Kaiser, who had shot and killed, who had allegedly shot and killed Randy Velour, this 34-year-old man that had been raping her and had been molesting her and having sex with her, and you know, he was accused of all kind of trafficking, and he was accused of having all kind of child pornography, and he was accused of being involved in all kinds of stuff that involved, you know, sex with underage kids and other underage girls, and they had proof that, you know, he was involved with having sex with all these underage girls and all of that. But when you talk to his parents and you talk to his family, they put it out there, you know, that he was just this upstanding member of the community, and that, you know, everybody's going to be surprised when they get the whole story and all of that. And her family and his family wanted justice. His family is not talking about, well, you know, forgive Crystal for what she did. You know, yes, she took our loved one away from us, you know, and yes, she killed him, and all of this, but because, you know, of her victimization, and because of, you know, the of her mentality and the state of mind that she was in, and because of some of the things that he was accused of doing to her and other underage young girls, you know, we understand, so we just forgive Crystal because that's the Christian thing to do. That's what Jesus would want us to do. Where's the forgiveness? You know, when these Asians in these nail salons and beauty shops are now physically attacking these black women. In some cases, they're saying, you know, it's because they got the nails done or whatever, and they didn't want to pay, or you know, they were in the business trying to steal, or whatever the case may be. With all of this attacking that's going on now, with all of these Asians and all of these physical attacks against these foundational black American women in their businesses, where's the forgiveness? Why aren't the Asians saying, well, we, you know, we just gonna forgive them? You know, yeah, you know, yeah, they got the nails done and didn't pay, or yeah, they was trying to, you know, steal 4 or 5 bundles of hair, or whatever the case may be. But, you know, we're just gonna turn the other cheek, and we're just gonna forgive them because that's just the right thing to do. That's just the moral thing to do, is to just forgive them, turn the other cheek, and just let them go on about their business. Where's the forgiveness? Just a couple of days ago, a black guy up in New York was accused of harassing and attacking some Jews, right? And right after that, the group, the Guardian Angels, who used to be real big back in the 80s, and you know, they were supposed to be this vigilante group that went around and protected people, you know, and they were supposed to be about, you know, keeping the streets safe and all of this kind of stuff. Well, now they're back on the scene. And they're back on the scene, I guess, now to call themselves guarding or protecting the Jewish community up there, where this whole thing took place. You know, and they've come out, and they, you know, they've done, you know, their little talking on camera and all this, and calling folks thugs and thugettes and all that, because we know they were talking about black folks, because, you know, that's a racist organization as well. Um, but yeah, so they're supposed to be there now to protect the Jews from further attacks. Now, it was just one black man, and he looked like he might have been, you know, 4 fingers short of a hand, meaning, you know, he looked like he might have been baddies, you know, off his rocker, and you know, he attacked some Jews. So they had to just make this great big old thing out of it, like they always do when it was supposed to be somebody black attacking another group or another ethnic group. You know, they just make this big theatrical thing out of it. And the Guardian Angels have just stepped forward, and, you know, we're just gonna handle this, and we're just gonna protect these Jews, and we're just gonna protect this community against all these thugs and thugettes. Okay, where's the forgiveness? Where's the show of forgiveness, and the Jews forgiving this black man for whatever, for this attack? Where's the show of forgiveness? Oh, he looked like he might have had some mental issues. Oh, And it would be the moral and the godly thing for us to do, to just forgive him, and just turn the other cheek and just don't worry about it, just let it go, because he has some problems and all that, and he really really needs some help. So let's see about getting him some mental help, some with his mental issues, some help. And we're just gonna let this go, and we're just gonna forgive him. Where's the forgiveness? Nobody else. No other group of people, no matter what happens, no other group of people is running around, no other ethnic group is running around talking about forgive, 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 forgive. And we're just going to forgive you for anything that you do to us. We're just going to forgive you for any way that you treat us. We're going to forgive you for your brutality. We're going to forgive you for your savagery towards us. We're going to forgive you for just killing our folks, at the drop of the hat, whenever you get ready to, running up in our homes, running up in our churches, running up in our businesses. You understand what I'm saying? Killing us on the street. We can't drive. It ain't safe for us to drive. It ain't safe for us to live. It ain't safe for us to shop. But we're just going to forgive you. We're just going to turn the other cheek, and we're just going to do what's morally expected. We're going to do what Jesus would do. We're just going to forgive you, and we're just going to let it go. We're not going to seek any justice. We're not going to retaliate. We're not going to seek to defend ourselves. We're not going to demand that something be done about it. We're just going to forgive. No other group does that. No other group does that. And I can bring up the whole thing about the Iranians and Trump and all of that, and one government against another government, and these people not wanting to forgive, and Trump, or the Trump administration or whatever, not wanting to forgive for the attacks and all that. Why? Because foundational Black Americans have been attacked by the United States government for years. For 400 plus years, we've been being attacked by the United States government. They have been waging war on us and attacking us for 400 and some years. So yes, I can use the whole government thing as a perfect example of nobody's expected to do all this forgiving but us. Inside the United States or outside the United States, nobody's expecting to do all this forgiveness but us. See, it's these type of people, it's these type of Black people that we have to stay clear of. And it's these type of Black people that we have to give the side eye to. Now, yes, we can try to get them on code, but after so long, like I said, the information is already out there. There's plenty of information out there. So yeah, we can try to get them on code, but we can't spend no whole lot of time trying to change people's minds about stuff, because it's obvious. Like I said, she probably grew up around the dominant society. It's obvious she worshiped with the dominant society, probably went to school with the dominant society, may honestly feel like she's a member of or a part of the dominant society. And instead of this being her wake-up call, and instead of her seeing this for what it was, I mean, out of all the other parishioners in all the other worshipers and congregants in the church, this white man walked up to her Black father and shot and killed him. And that should have been her wake-up call. If she didn't have one before that, that should have been a wake-up call. But instead of that being a wake-up call for her, she's going right along with the program. Right along with the white supremacy program. Forgive. Oh, I'm hurt. Oh, you have hurt me so much. I got to grieve. You done took my father away from me. And you did it right before my eyes, but I forgive you. Which equates to, I'm not going to seek any justice. I'm not going to seek any justice. I'm not going to raise any hell about it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to demand any justice for my father. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to demand that anything, nothing else. I'm not going to demand anything. I'm not going to speak out against it. I'm not going to speak out against, all of this violence against black men and black people in general, but specifically black men in just about every walk of life. I'm not going to speak on it. Now, the two parishioners have already taken him out. So it's not like, he can go to jail, he can be charged, he can be prosecuted, anything like that. But you can at least speak out about it. If you wanted to say something about it, speak out about it. Speak out about the violence. Speak out about how black men are being targeted in the United States. Speak out on that instead of coming out with this forgiveness mess. Like I said, it really, really makes me wonder if she ain't, hunting for an award like what Brant John just got. That award that he just got. It really makes me wonder if she ain't on that kick. Or it makes me wonder if Benjamin Crump or S. Lee Merritt ain't in the background operating somewhere. Because it sounds like it's very possible that they could be in the background operating somewhere. Now I don't know, what kind of case they would come up with, considering the fact that this was a private church and the man went in and he did his shooting and the congregation went on head on, the parishioners in the congregation went on head on and took care of him to make sure that nobody else got killed, to make sure that no stray bullets hit any of them white parishioners. So they went on head on and they took care of that. But it still sounds like, something that they might be back in the background or it sounds like, somebody has gotten to her and somebody has talked to her and somebody, has let her know, well, this is the thing that you need to do. You just need to come on out and you just need to go ahead on and forgive him and you just need to let him go. He's gone now. We took care of that. He's dead. So just go ahead on and forgive him. No. Makes no difference whether he's dead or not. Makes no difference whether he's still here to be charged or to be brought to justice or whatever the case may be. You still don't just step out, automatically with this forgive mess. This was your perfect opportunity for you to have a conversation. This was the perfect opportunity for you to speak out against some stuff. But instead, probably because you've been surrounded by folks in a dominant society all your life, the first thing that you do is you think to protect the dominant society. Well, how do you protect them? By forgiving. You're welcome. Talking to my grandbaby. My dad is gone. You understand what I'm saying? The gunman has been taken care of. So ain't nothing for me to do now but to continue to protect the dominant society instead of using this as an opportunity to speak against not only what happened to your father, but what has happened to many black men across America. And like I said, I just wanted to use her case and this case with Trump and Iran and all of that to talk about this whole forgiveness thing and how this whole forgiveness thing is just it's getting out of hand. It's truly getting out of hand. And I was hoping after that whole debacle, that whole mess that we saw with Amber Geiger, I was hoping that we would never see that again. And here we go. And I want to make another point. This is in the New York Post. This story is in ABC News. This story is in quite a few mainstream media articles and publications or whatever. But the story about the young lady Destiny Harrison, who was murdered in her beauty salon a few days ago in Baltimore. First she was robbed and attacked, and then a couple of days later she was shot and killed. She was murdered in her Madam D's beauty salon. I couldn't find that anywhere in mainstream media. I couldn't find an article on that anywhere in mainstream media. No MSNBC, no NBC, no New York Times, no New York Post, no Washington Post. I couldn't find that anywhere. Not in mainstream media. I had to get my sources and get articles from that from other sites and other, other publications outside of mainstream media. But this right here is in mainstream media. Why? Because she's doing what white supremacy and what mainstream media wants to promote. She's forgiving a white gunman who has taken out her loved one, who has murdered her loved one. She's on that whole forgiveness kick. So she's doing the type of stuff that mainstream media wants to promote and wants to push out there. Now, a young businesswoman, a young entrepreneur, that was trying to get it and was getting it and was making a move and all of that. Oh no, they don't want to promote that. Even if she was killed, and at this point we still don't know exactly who she was killed by. But this positive image of a positive foundational Black American woman, no, they're not going to push that. They're not going to promote that. Because even if she was murdered, look at the circumstances of her murder. She was murdered in her own business establishment. She had been attacked and robbed because folks wanted what she had worked for and accomplished, and what she was building. See, that's not the image of a foundational Black woman that they want to promote. So that's one of the reasons why that story was not in mainstream media. It was not spread out all over mainstream media. But this story here, where you got this Black woman that's wanting to forgive this white gunman who has gunned down her father in church for no apparent reason, you can find this in mainstream media. You can find articles on this in mainstream media. Why? Because it pushes the narrative and the propaganda that mainstream media wants to push. That do whatever you're going to do to Black folk. Kill, steal, destroy, do whatever. And we just going to forgive. We're just going to forgive you. And I wanted to add as a side note, and this goes back to prove what many in the new Black media have been saying long before I even knew anything about the new Black media. But it just, what I'm getting ready to introduce now is just going to show that, hold on a minute. It's just going to show that the new Black media has it right. That the left wing and the right wing are just two wings of the same white supremacist bird, right? Okay, now we see what Trump has done right in the middle of this whole impeachment process. Because now we're waiting for the articles of impeachment to go over from the House to the Senate, right? So that the Senate can do whatever they're going to do, so they can have the trial and all of this kind of stuff. Well, side note, Nancy Pelosi, I don't know whether I've mentioned this before, but I put it on my community. I put a post about it on my community tab. But Nancy Pelosi, not only did she invite Trump to do the State of the Union address, which is scheduled for February the 4th, not only did she invite him to do that before the House, the same House that just voted to impeach him and send down articles of impeachment against him. Not only did she invite him to do the State of the Union address before the House, he accepted, right? And it's being reported that she's seriously considering, and she's getting a lot of what's the word? I don't want to say pushback, but she's getting a lot of encouragement from other Democrats in the House to just not deliver the articles of impeachment to the Senate. Right? Just don't just not to even not to even deliver them. And you know that the impeachment process can't go on, it can't be completed, whatever, if the House of Representatives, if the House does not send the articles of impeachment to the Senate. And they have to be heard on the Senate floor, and then the Senate decides what they're going to do with it after that. So if she just decides not to send them, or not to deliver the articles of impeachment to the Senate, if she decides not to do that, then it invalidates the whole impeachment. And it's like that process never even started. But that's what is being said that Nancy Pelosi is considering, not even delivering the articles of impeachment to the Senate. Okay? Now, again, just to show that whether you're dealing with the Democrats or whether you're dealing with the Republicans, you're dealing with the same folk. Get this. Now, everybody want to jump off, and jump out the window and act like, Trump just doing something so different, and Trump is just so special, and Trump is just so outrageous and all of this kind of stuff. And, the only reason why he doing this now is because of the impeachment, and he trying to sabotage the impeachment, or he trying to delay the impeachment, or whatever the case may be. So everybody just jumping all out the window like this is some brand new stuff. No, this is not brand new at all. As a matter of fact, this same type of stunt was pulled back in 1998 by none other than Democratic President Bill Clinton. This is an old New York Times article. And you'll see the picture of the headline when it was in the newspaper. You'll see that picture on this video. This was December the 17th, 1998 by Francis X. Kleins and Stephen Lee Myers. Attack on Iraq, the overview. Attack on Iraq, the overview. Impeachment vote in House delayed as Clinton launches Iraq airstrike, citing military needs to move swiftly. President Clinton ordered a strong, sustained series of airstrikes against Iraq today, defending the attack as unavoidable, even as incensed congressional Republicans charged that it was politically timed to stave off the pending resolution to impeach him in the House of Representatives. Iraq has abused its final chance, Mr. Clinton declared in an address to the nation tonight as televised scenes from Baghdad reverberated with flashes of explosions and anti-aircraft fire. The Pentagon said more than 200 missiles rained down upon Iraq without any diplomacy or warning, about 24 hours after the chief United Nations inspector reported that President Saddam Hussein was again thwarting the inspector's work. Now, you can read the rest of the article yourself because it will be linked in the description box. But I just wanted to let you know, what you see Trump doing is nothing new. As a matter of fact, there's a scripture in the Bible that says that there's nothing new under the sun. So what you see Trump doing is nothing new. It's not a Republican stunt. It's not a Democratic stunt. It's a white supremacy stunt. It's something that they do. Back in 1998, the left wing of the bird flapped this way, and now in 2020, the right wing of the bird is flapping this way. But understand, they are still two wings on the exact same bird, and they all practice the exact same stuff. So you tell me what's different about Clinton doing it in 1998 and Trump doing it now in 2020. What's the difference? Let me read that first part to you again. President Clinton ordered a strong, sustained series of airstrikes against Iraq today, defending the attack as unavoidable, even as incensed congressional Republicans charged that it was politically timed to stave off the pending resolution to impeach him in the House of Representatives. Same thing. Only difference is when Trump is doing it, he's already been impeached, or supposedly he's already been impeached, even though the articles of impeachment still have not been delivered to the Senate. When Clinton did it, they were still deciding whether or not they were going to impeach him in the House. But both moves were done during the impeachment process. So no different. No difference whatsoever. But I just wanted to touch on that just to show that when people tell you that when you're dealing with either the Democrats or the Republicans, that you're dealing with two wings of the same white supremacist bird, understand it's true. Their tactics, their way of doing business, their way of doing politics, it's all the same. If you find a Democrat doing something now, I guarantee you, if you look back far enough in history, you'll find where a Republican has done the same thing, and vice versa. So in 2020, we have a Republican doing it. In 1998, we had a Democrat doing it. No difference. So I just wanted to bring you those two short stories and talk about this whole forgiveness thing, and talk about how no other group in the United States or abroad, no other group is all into all this forgiveness and just let bygones be bygones, and just and just turn the other cheek or whatever. No other group is into all of that when you have offended them, when you have hurt them, when you have attacked them. No other group is like that. And and I wanted to bring in this whole thing with what's going on as far as what Trump is doing now, to show that nobody's into this forgiveness. Nobody's into this, okay, well, we're just going to let bygones be bygones, and you done it now, and we're just going to forgive you, and we're just going to move on. Nobody else does that but us. Nobody but us. And it's time for us, it's way past time for us to stop that mess. Because it just makes us easier targets. It makes us all a bunch of soft targets because, you got this being pushed and this being promoted out there and this being pushed that, this is how black people are going to react. And this is how black people are going to respond when you attack them and when you hurt them and when you kill them for no reason. And when you run up into their homes and all of this and take them out. This is how black people are going to respond. That's the reason why a Tatiana Jefferson's dad all of a sudden just mysteriously just died, is because this man wasn't about forgiveness. This man wasn't about hugs and all of that. This man was about justice for his daughter. He was about straight up justice, and he was taking the necessary steps to get that justice. And it's funny how once he made it clear that he was not just going to sit down, that he was not going to get into this whole forgiveness thing, and that he was going to seek justice for his daughter, no matter what, all of a sudden he ended up dead. All of a sudden he ended up dead. I kind of wonder, would Marquise Jefferson still be around if he had went the forgiveness route? If he had taken the so-called moral high ground and came out and publicly talked about, all of this, we're going to forgive, we're going to look the other way, we're going to forgive. I wonder if maybe he wouldn't still be around. But that's it. These articles will be linked in the description box, so you can go read these stories for yourself. Please like this video. Please share this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that bell notification if you want to be notified when we upload videos, because I've got another one coming right after this where we'll keep talking about this Black economic empowerment. And If you'd like to donate to the channel, of course, the PayPal link will be in the description box as well. But yeah, let's start having some conversations. Let's start having some conversations with family members and with friends and stuff, especially about all of this forgiveness stuff. And especially you church going Christian folk and all of that. Understand that all of these 400 plus years of forgiveness ain't got us nowhere. Ain't got us nowhere. You understand what I'm saying? It's because we still think we're dealing with moral people. We still think we're dealing with people that have morals and that have ethics and all of that. No, you're not. You're dealing with people who are only concerned with power and with winning. They're only concerned with victory. They're only concerned with continuing to be the dominating, controlling force. And all of your morals and all of your religion and all of your forgiveness and all of your moral high ground and all of that is not going to make these people treat you any better. It's not going to make them respect you. It's not going to make them see you as equal. It's not going to make them apologize to you and turn around and start treating you like you're supposed to be treated just because you want to get into all of this foolishness with them. Because as you can see, the dominant society among all the other groups in the United States don't prescribe to this forgiveness mess. They don't do it. Not when you are attacking or harming their community or members of their community. So Black folks, think about that. Foundational Black Americans, really think about that and start having these discussions with your children, with your mamas, your daddies, your uncles, your aunts, the folks you go to church with, the folks you go to school with, the folks you hang out with. Start having these conversations. And understand, after 400 and some years of being so docile and being so loving and so forgiving, and so accepting and all of that, it hadn't done us any good at all. We are almost, some would say we are already. Others will say that we are almost the permanent underclass, which means every other group in America is above us. Every other group in America has their foot on our back. So if forgiveness worked, looked like it would have been no work by now. All right, you guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one. What's up, fam? I need to do an addendum to the video. I was wrong. Let me correct myself. There was another victim in the shooting. It was not just Mr. Wallace. There was another victim in the shooting. His name was Rich White. He was another church member, and he was killed as well. So there were two victims, Mr. Wallace and Mr. Rich White. And the gunman was also killed by the security guard at the church. And I'd also like to add that, yes, Mr. Wallace was in the medical field. He was a nurse. And I will be adding a link in the description box to another article that will give you more information about the shooting, about Mr. Wallace, about Mr. Rich White, who was also killed. And it'll give you a little bit more background information in that. So y'all have a good one. Bye.